2 years after what historians across the galaxy would forever call the Sol System demonstration, the entire galaxy had changed in ways nobody could have imagined. The old ways of thinking about war and peace were dying out like extinct animals. The Altarian Republic was the first alien civilization to officially ask humans for protection, followed quickly by 17 other peaceful species who were tired of living in constant fear. These peaceful aliens had spent thousands of years hiding from predatory neighbors who saw them only as sources of entertainment through torture. But now they had hope for the first time in their long history. They had seen what happened when humans decided to protect someone. The protection was absolute and permanent. Professor Moon Da-eun worked at Seoul University and had become the galaxy's leading expert on warfare ethics. Her research was translated into every known alien language and distributed to every civilization in known space. Her work explained something that seemed impossible to alien minds: why humans alone had developed the idea of merciful warfare. Moon Da-eun's studies showed that Earth's harsh and dangerous environment had created a species that understood violence as a necessary tool rather than entertainment. Humans had learned through millions of years of survival that wasted effort in combat meant death for you and your family. Real mercy meant ending conflicts efficiently, not prolonging them for fun. The research revealed something amazing about human evolution. Unlike every other intelligent species in the galaxy, humans had developed on a world where resources were limited and threats were everywhere. This had taught them that strength was best demonstrated through restraint and efficiency, rather than through cruelty and waste. Captain Ru Jae-hwan now commanded the UES Peacekeeper, which was the flagship of humanity's new rapid response fleet. His ships patrolled the spiral arm of the galaxy like guardian angels responding to distress calls from species under attack by traditional warrior cultures. Most of the time, just seeing human vessels was enough to make attackers run away in terror. The Peacekeeper was not as heavily armed as a full warship, but it did not need to be. The reputation of human military efficiency had spread so far that most potential aggressors would rather face a black hole than fight humans. Word had gotten around that humans did not take prisoners and did not waste time with traditional combat ceremonies. One morning, Jae-hwan's communications officer received an urgent distress call. The message came from the Benthok agricultural colonies, which were simple farming worlds populated by peaceful plant-growing aliens. Cortex raiders had attacked the colonies and taken many prisoners for their next traditional torture festival. The Benthoks were begging for immediate help. The rescue operation took exactly 6 minutes from start to finish. The Cortex ships had been designed for capturing and transporting living cargo, not for fighting against opponents who actually fought back. They were completely unprepared for weapons that simply deleted their targets from existence without leaving any trace behind. The Cortex raiders had expected to spend several pleasant months traveling home while enjoying their captured victims. Instead, they experienced one brief moment of confusion as human weapons found them, and then they experienced nothing at all ever again. The prisoners were recovered completely unharmed and returned safely to their families. This same pattern repeated itself across the galaxy dozens of times every month. Predatory alien species would attack peaceful civilizations expecting easy victories and entertaining prisoners for their traditional festivals. Instead, they would encounter human intervention and discover what mercy actually meant: instant termination of the threat. The psychological impact on galactic civilization was more profound than anyone had expected. Species that had built their entire cultures around the torture of defeated enemies suddenly found themselves facing an opponent that refused to be defeated and granted no opportunity for traditional victory celebrations. Many of these warrior cultures simply collapsed under the weight of their own uselessness. What was the point of being a mighty warrior if your enemies would just be killed instantly by humans before you could properly torture them? Traditional military academies closed down because their teaching methods had become completely obsolete. Ambassador Won Kyung-min sent regular reports to Earth Command from the rebuilt Galactic Council chambers. The building had been redesigned to accommodate representatives from dozens of newly independent peaceful worlds. He wrote that they were seeing fundamental changes in how different species related to each other across the galaxy. Traditional warrior cultures were either adapting to more efficient combat methods based on human examples, or they were abandoning warfare entirely in favor of peaceful activities. Meanwhile, peaceful species were thriving under human protection and beginning to explore scientific and artistic achievements they had never had time for before. The mighty Vorthak Empire had collapsed completely when their military doctrine was revealed to be totally useless against human opponents. Former Vorthak colonies declared independence one after another and immediately requested human diplomatic assistance in establishing peaceful democratic governments. Even more surprisingly, several former warrior species were beginning to adopt human military philosophy for themselves. The Draconian Compact had completely restructured their entire space fleet around the principle of decisive victory rather than prolonged combat entertainment. The hegemony was experimenting with mercy weapons designed to kill enemies instantly, rather than slowly. Dr. Yon Seoha was Earth's chief diplomatic strategist, and she observed these galactic changes with careful optimism. She wrote in her reports that humans were not just changing how the galaxy fought wars. They were changing why alien species chose to fight in the first place. When victory became a tool for ending conflict rather than beginning entertainment, war itself became much less attractive to potential aggressors. Why start a fight that would just result in your instant death instead of glorious combat and torture festivals? The transformation was not complete, and resistance remained strong among some species whose entire identity was built around the torture of enemies. But the balance of power had shifted permanently in favor of peaceful civilizations. They no longer lived in constant fear because they were protected by humanity's promise. That promise was simple but absolute. Any aggressor who attacked peaceful worlds would face swift, complete defeat. There would be no negotiations, no mercy, in the traditional sense, and no second chances. Human protection meant that suffering would always be brief. The galaxy was learning slowly and sometimes painfully that true mercy meant ending suffering quickly rather than prolonging it for amusement. Humanity had taught them that the strongest civilizations were those that fought only when absolutely necessary, won decisively when they fought, and returned immediately to peaceful pursuits. In the end, the aliens learned that when humans said, "We only kill you once," it was not a limitation or weakness. It was a promise and a warning. One precise, efficient death was enough to end any threat, protect any ally, and demonstrate that true strength came not from cruelty, but from the compassion. To make suffering brief, the Vorthak Empire's answer came 6 months later in the form of the biggest military fleet that had ever been built in galactic history. 300 massive warships from 7 different alien species came together like an angry storm heading straight for the Sol system. They were all united by one thing: their shared anger at humanity's dishonorable way of fighting wars. The fleet was so large it blocked out stars when it moved through space. War leader Krex was the alien general in charge of this enormous invasion force. He was a Vorthak who had become famous throughout the galaxy for inventing new and creative ways to torture prisoners. Even among his own sadistic people, Krex was considered a master artist when it came to causing pain. He had spent months planning exactly how he would teach these insolent humans proper warfare. Admiral Shin Yunji received the massive alien invasion fleet at the very edge of the solar system. She had only 20 human vessels with her, but she was not worried at all. Earth's military had spent the past 6 months preparing for exactly this moment. They had been guided by the same simple idea that alien minds could never understand: if you must fight, then fight to win completely and permanently. The alien fleet arranged itself in the traditional battle formation that had been used for thousands of years. This formation was designed to capture enemy vessels without destroying them, so there would be plenty of prisoners left alive for the victory celebrations that would follow. Their weapons were all set to disable rather than destroy, because dead enemies could not provide entertainment. Each alien ship carried special holding cells where prisoners would be kept during the long journey back to their homeworlds. The aliens had brought extra supplies of food and medical equipment to keep their human captives alive and healthy for many months of creative torture. They wanted their prisoners to last as long as possible. War leader Krex opened a communication channel that reached every human ship and every monitoring station in the galaxy. His voice was full of cruel pleasure when he spoke. He told the human admiral that his fleet had come to teach the human species how to fight with proper honor and respect for tradition. Krex explained that humans would learn to fight correctly by watching demonstrations on their own people. They would learn to savor victory instead of rushing through it. They would learn to grant their enemies the dignity of slow, artistic death instead of quick, meaningless destruction. If the humans surrendered right now, Krex promised he would only demonstrate proper torture techniques on half of Earth's population. Admiral Shin's response was heard by every alien in the invasion fleet and every monitoring station throughout the galaxy. Her words would be remembered and repeated for many generations to come. She said humans had offered the aliens mercy once before, but they had rejected it and returned with threats against innocent civilians. Now the aliens would finally learn why humans only killed their enemies once because once was always enough. The human fleet began to move in a way that made alien observers gasp in shock and disbelief. Instead of forming up in the expected battle lines, each human ship followed its own independent path through space. The movements were calculated to create maximum destruction with perfect efficiency. The aliens had prepared for a glorious traditional battle, but they were about to face methodical extermination instead. Captain Oh Min-seok was commanding the destroyer UES Swift Justice, which carried the newest generation of human weapons. His ship's quantum torpedoes did not just destroy enemy vessels. They erased them so completely that not even tiny pieces of debris remained floating in space. The alien crews would experience one brief moment of confusion, followed by absolutely nothing at all. Admiral Shin gave her orders in a calm voice that carried clearly to every human ship. She told them to target the alien command structure first to remove their ability to coordinate their movements. After that, they should clean up the remaining ships in whatever order was most efficient. There was no need to hurry, because the outcome was already decided. Lieutenant Colonel Park Yu-young led the human fighter squadrons in surgical strikes against the alien flagship bridges. Her pilots had trained for months specifically for this type of large-scale combat scenario. They had practiced how to end massive battles as quickly as possible with minimum waste of time and resources. Each human fighter carried weapons that could completely vaporize a warship's entire command section with a single perfectly aimed shot. The alien flagships were the biggest and most heavily armored vessels in their fleets, but human weapons cut through their defenses like they were made of thin paper. The battle, if anyone could really call it a battle, lasted exactly 14 minutes, from start to finish. 300 alien vessels that had taken years to build and represented the military, might of 7 different civilizations, became expanding clouds of basic particles floating in empty space. Their crews were granted the mercy of death so fast, their brains never had time to register pain or fear. Not a single human ship was even scratched during the entire engagement. Not one alien vessel managed to escape to carry word of their defeat back to their home worlds. The human fleet had demonstrated their approach to large-scale warfare with mathematical precision and perfect efficiency. The galaxy watched this demonstration in complete, stunned silence. Billions of alien beings across hundreds of worlds saw humanity show them what real military power looked like when it was focused and directed properly. No prisoners were taken because prisoners served no useful purpose. No gloating or celebrating because the job was finished and it was time to move on to other things. Commander Lee Subin of the research vessel UES Discovery was already studying the battlefield, looking for pieces of alien technology that might have peaceful applications. This was also part of human military philosophy. You learned whatever you could from victory, and then immediately returned to constructive peaceful activities. Admiral Shin ordered a message to be broadcast to every listening station and monitoring post in the galaxy. She wanted to make sure that every alien civilization heard and understood what she was about to say. This would be humanity's final warning to any species that might be thinking about attacking Earth or the peaceful aliens who had asked for human protection. The message was very simple and easy to understand. This is what human mercy looks like in action. Humans do not torture their enemies because torture serves no useful purpose. Humans do not make suffering last longer because long suffering helps nobody. Humans fight only when they are forced to fight, and when they do fight, they win quickly and completely. The meaning was perfectly clear to those few alien species who were wise enough to understand it. Humanity had just demonstrated the most advanced and effective military capability the galaxy had ever seen. Then they had immediately returned to peaceful research and exploration activities without even pausing to count their victories or celebrate their success. Within hours of the UES Harmony returning to Earth, the story of what happened spread across the entire galaxy like wildfire. Ambassador Kang Ji-hoon was Earth's representative to the Galactic Council. His communication system started beeping nonstop, with thousands of messages from alien species who could not believe what they had heard. Every alien race in the galaxy was talking about the same impossible thing. The recording was very clear and could not be argued with. 12 powerful Vorthak warships had been completely destroyed by one small human vessel. Each Vorthak ship was strong enough to turn a whole planet into burning glass. But what really shocked the alien minds was not that humans had won the fight. What shocked them was how the humans had fought without any cruelty or torture. The aliens watched the EW battle recording over and over again. They saw human weapons that killed instantly and completely. They saw no prisoners being taken for fun. They saw no celebration or dancing after victory. The humans had simply eliminated the threat and then gone home like nothing important had happened. This was completely crazy to alien minds. Counselor Vex of the Hegemony called an emergency meeting of all the important alien leaders. The Hegemony controlled 50 star systems and had never lost a single battle in their long history. Vex stood up in the Great Council chamber and spoke for many aliens when he said this made no sense at all. Why would anyone show mercy to enemies who wanted to torture them? Vex explained that the Vorthak would have kept those humans alive for many cycles just to cause them pain for entertainment. That was the normal way of doing things throughout the galaxy. When you won a battle, you earned the right to make your enemies suffer as much as possible. Victory celebrations could last for many days while prisoners were tortured in creative and artistic ways. Ambassador Kang Ji-hoon stood up to speak before the assembled representatives of 47 different civilizations. Each species had their own special traditions of warfare, but they all shared the same basic ideas. Defeated enemies were supposed to provide entertainment through their suffering. Victory meant you could do whatever you wanted to the losers for as long as you wanted. Ji-hoon looked around the great chamber at all the alien faces staring at him. He spoke in a calm, clear voice that carried to every corner of the room. He explained that humans fought differently because making enemies suffer for a long time served no useful purpose. When humans had to fight, they fought to win quickly and completely. They did not fight for fun or entertainment. This explanation caused visible confusion among all the alien delegates. Many of them started talking to each other in their own languages. The computer translators were working very hard to keep up with all the different conversations happening at once. Nobody could understand how victory could be meaningful without proper suffering from the defeated enemies. Counselor Thex of the Dominion spoke up with a question that many others wanted to ask. She wanted to know how humans celebrated their victories without torturing prisoners. She asked how humans could demonstrate their superiority over enemies without making those enemies suffer for many days. This was the foundation of how every alien culture understood warfare. Ji-hoon smiled a little bit when he answered this question. He said humans demonstrated their superiority by winning battles so quickly and completely that enemies had no chance to fight back. The speed and efficiency of victory spoke louder than any amount of torture could. Quality was more important than quantity when it came to showing your strength. Captain Bae Sun-ho had been promoted after the Vorthak incident and was now helping to explain human military thinking to the aliens. His presentation showed exactly how the UES Harmony had achieved such amazing results against much larger numbers. Every part of the ship had been designed with one goal in mind: maximum killing power, with minimum suffering for everyone involved. Sun-ho used diagrams and videos to show the alien delegates how human weapons worked. Every system was built for efficiency above all else. Human weapons targeted the most important parts of enemy ships to make sure destruction was instant and complete. Human tactics focused on ending conflicts before they could get bigger and cause more death. The aliens found this very hard to understand. In their experience, mercy meant allowing enemies to live so they could be tortured in the proper traditional ways. The human way of granting quick death seemed almost impossibly kind and generous. It was like giving your enemies a wonderful gift, instead of the punishment they deserved. News of the battle reached every corner of the galaxy within just a few days. The Cortex Syndicate was famous throughout space for their elaborate and artistic execution ceremonies. They sent special investigators to confirm that the reports about human fighting methods were actually true. They could not believe anyone would waste such good opportunities for creative torture. The Zephyrian Collective had built their entire culture around the artistic torture of defeated enemies. They had museums full of torture devices and schools that taught young aliens how to cause pain in beautiful ways. They sent angry messages to Earth demanding explanations for such wasteful and disrespectful tactics. But other types of alien species began to react very differently to the news about human warfare. The peaceful Altarians had been oppressed by warrior races for hundreds of years. They sent secret messages to Earth asking if humans might be willing to help protect them from their enemies. They had never seen anyone defeat the warrior races so completely. The agricultural Benthans were simple farmers who just wanted to grow their crops in peace, but they were constantly being attacked by space pirates who kept prisoners alive for entertainment during their long journeys between raids. The Benthans quietly asked Earth if humans might be willing to provide protection services. Dr. Lim Hee-wan was Earth's top expert on alien psychology and behavior. She studied the galactic reaction to the human victory with great interest and growing concern. Her research showed a very disturbing truth about all the known civilizations in the galaxy. Every single alien culture had developed the idea that cruelty was normal, and even something to be proud of. This was completely different from human culture, where cruelty was seen as weakness and stupidity. Humans had learned that causing unnecessary pain was a waste of time and energy that could be better used for constructive purposes. But aliens seemed to think that causing pain was the whole point of winning battles. Dr. Lim wrote detailed reports for Earth Command explaining what she had discovered. She warned that humans might be the only species in the entire galaxy that understood what real mercy actually meant. The aliens saw human quick kills as either incredible kindness or terrible insults. Either way, they were now afraid of humans in a way they had never been afraid before. Commander Lee Dae-ho stood on the bridge of the big ship called UES Harmony. This ship was very special because it was the first human ship that could travel faster than light. The ship was beautiful and white like snow. It had been flying through space for 3 years now. Today was a very important day because they were going to meet aliens for the very first time. The alien ships came from all sides like hungry wolves around a small rabbit. There were so many alien ships that Dae-ho could not count them all. Admiral Kim So-ra had told him this might happen when he was still on Earth. She said the aliens called Vorthak were very mean and liked to hurt people. They never showed mercy to anyone they caught. Navigator Park Jin-woo was sitting at his computer. He looked scared when he read the message from the aliens. The aliens wanted the humans to give up right now. They said they would kill all the important people on the ship. Then they would make all the other people into slaves. This was what the Vorthak always did when they won a fight. Dae-ho looked at the big screen that showed all the enemy ships. There were 12 big Vorthak warships and only one human ship. The human ship was much smaller than the alien ships. Anyone could see that this was not a fair fight. But something made Dae-ho feel worried. The aliens seemed very happy about catching humans alive. Communications Officer Choi Min-young was listening to the alien radio messages. Her face was white like paper. She was afraid of what she heard the aliens talking about. The Vorthak kept saying they wanted to have fun with the human prisoners. They used words like extended entertainment, which meant they wanted to hurt the humans for a very long time. Min-young turned to look at her captain. Her voice was shaking when she spoke. She told Dae-ho that the aliens did not want to kill them quickly. Instead, they wanted to keep them alive so they could torture them. The aliens thought it would be fun to make humans feel pain for many days or maybe even weeks. The main screen in front of them turned on. A terrible alien face appeared on the screen. The creature was very tall, maybe 8 feet. Its skin looked like hard black armor. It had many eyes that glowed red like fire. When it talked, the computer changed its words into human language. But the computer also told them what the alien really meant when it spoke. The alien commander looked at the humans like they were insects. Its voice was loud and mean. It told the humans they must surrender right now. It said their deaths would be very slow and painful. The alien said its young soldiers would learn how to torture by practicing on the humans. The alien had heard that humans could feel pain very well, and this made it happy. Daeho looked around at his crew. All of them knew this might happen someday. Chief Engineer Yoon Hae-jin had put special weapons on their ship that were hidden. Earth Command hoped they would never need to use these weapons, but now it looked like they had no choice. It was time to show these aliens what human mercy really meant. Daeho told Min Young to open a channel so he could talk to the aliens. When the connection was ready, he spoke in a calm voice. This was the same quiet voice that made Earth Command choose him to be the captain of their most important ship. He offered the Vorthak commander one chance to go away. He said if they left right now, the humans would forget this ever happened. The alien started laughing, but its laugh sounded like metal scraping against metal. It was a horrible sound that made all the humans feel sick. The alien could not believe that the humans were trying to threaten them. It thought this was very funny. One small human ship against 12 big alien warships. The alien said it would enjoy breaking the humans slowly before it killed them. Daeho nodded to his crew members. Now they knew what they had to do. The aliens had chosen to be enemies instead of friends. Daeho spoke to the alien one more time. He said the alien had chosen its own fate. He said they tried to show mercy, but the alien said no. He told the alien to remember this moment. The Vorthak commander looked confused by what the human said. It did not understand what Daeho meant. But before it could ask any questions, Daeho ended the conversation. The screen went black. Now the real work would begin. The UES Harmony began to change. Hidden panels opened up all over the ship. Secret weapons came out from inside the walls. The ship that looked like it was only for talking and making peace was actually a very dangerous fighting machine. The aliens had thought they were hunting a helpless animal. Instead, they had found a sleeping dragon. Chief Weapons Officer Song Tae-min had been waiting for this moment. Before he joined the diplomatic crew, he was the best pilot on Earth. His hands moved over the weapon controls like a musician playing a piano. He knew exactly where to shoot to make the alien ships die quickly. The first alien ship exploded in just 3 seconds. Song Tae-min's aim was perfect. The hidden plasma cannons on the Harmony cut through the alien armor like a hot knife, through butter. The Vorthak had expected to catch a weak prey animal. Instead, they found a predator that was much more dangerous than they were. The alien commander watched his ship get destroyed and could not believe what he was seeing. His strongest warship was now just pieces of metal floating in space. The humans had weapons that his computers could not even detect. How was this possible? The other alien ships tried to fight back, but their weapons could not hit the fast human ship. The Harmony moved like a dancer, avoiding every shot the aliens fired. Meanwhile, Song Tae-min kept destroying alien ships one by one. Each shot was aimed perfectly to kill everyone on the ship instantly. This was how humans fought when they had no choice. They did not play games or try to capture enemies for fun. When humans had to fight, they fought to win quickly and completely. They understood that the best mercy they could show their enemies was to end their suffering as fast as possible. The first Vorthak ship died in 3 seconds, but it felt like slow motion to everyone watching. Chief Weapons Officer Song Tae-min had been Earth's finest pilot before he joined the diplomatic team. His hands moved over the controls like he was born to do this job. The Harmony's secret plasma cannons tore through the alien armor like it was made of thin paper. The Vorthak thought they were hunting a helpless rabbit, but instead they found a hungry wolf. Song Tae-min looked at his targeting computer and picked his next victim. The alien ships were big and slow compared to the human vessel. They had been built for capturing other ships, not for real fighting. Their weapons were designed to disable enemies, so they could take prisoners for their torture games. But human weapons were made for one thing, only to end fights as fast as possible. Commander Daeho watched the tactical display with calm eyes. He had studied many battles in Earth's history. Humans had learned something important over thousands of years of war. When you have to fight, you should fight to win completely and quickly. Playing with your enemies was stupid and dangerous. It gave them time to call for help or find a way to escape. The second alien ship exploded in a ball of bright fire. Song Taiman's targeting was perfect as always. He aimed for the power core in the center of each ship. When the power core was destroyed, the whole ship would blow up instantly. The alien crews never had time to feel pain or fear. One moment they were alive, and the next moment they were gone forever. Dr. An Yu-jin was the ship's expert on alien life forms. She had studied 17 different alien species before this mission. She watched the battle with great interest because she was learning something amazing. All the alien races she had studied thought fighting was like a sport or a game. They believed that defeating enemies meant you earned the right to torture them slowly. But humans were completely different. They had learned that real mercy meant ending pain quickly, not making it last longer. Dr. Yu-jin realized that humans might be the only species in the galaxy who understood this simple truth. To humans, fighting was not fun. It was just something you did when you had no other choice. The third and fourth Vorthak ships died at exactly the same time. Song Taiman had fired 2 shots at once using different weapon systems. Both shots hit their targets perfectly. The alien ships turned into clouds of glowing gas and metal pieces. Their crews never knew what killed them because death came faster than their brains could process. Communications Officer Min Young was listening to the alien radio channels. The remaining Vorthak ships were screaming at each other in panic. They could not understand how their mighty warships were being destroyed so easily. Their armor was supposed to protect them from primitive human technology, but the human weapons were not primitive at all. One of the alien captains was shouting that this had to be some kind of magic. Another alien was demanding to know why the humans were not trying to capture prisoners. In Vorthak culture, you always tried to take enemies alive so you could torture them properly. Killing enemies quickly was considered very rude and insulting. The Vorthak flagship sent a message to the human ship. The alien commander appeared on the screen again, but now he looked scared instead of confident. His red eyes were wide with fear and confusion. 3 of his best warships had been turned into space dust in less than a minute. His sensors could not even track the human weapons before they fired. The alien commander's voice was shaking when he spoke. He demanded to know what kind of magic the humans were using. He said their armor should be able to stop any weapon that primitive humans could build. He could not understand how his ships were dying so fast and so completely. Commander Daeho looked at the alien with calm eyes. His voice was quiet and steady when he answered. He told the alien there was no magic involved, just simple efficiency. He reminded the alien that he had warned them to leave peacefully. The aliens had chosen to stay and threaten torture instead. Now they were learning what human mercy really meant. Another Vorthak ship vanished in a bright flash of light. Song Taiman was working through the enemy fleet like a farmer harvesting crops. Each kill was clean and fast and final. The aliens were firing their weapons wildly, but they could not hit the quick human ship. The harmony danced between their energy beams like it was playing a game. The alien commander was getting more and more upset. He screamed at Daeho that humans were fighting without honor. He wanted to know where the sport was in this battle. He demanded to know why the humans were not making their enemies suffer properly. In his mind, quick death was the worst insult you could give to a defeated foe. Daeho's expression did not change at all. He explained that this was exactly the point of human warfare. Humans did not fight for sport or entertainment. They fought to win and end threats permanently. Making enemies suffer served no useful purpose, so humans did not waste time doing it. Pain was meaningless if it did not help you achieve your goals. This idea seemed to break something inside the alien commander's mind. In Vorthak culture, defeating an enemy meant you had earned the right to torture them for as long as you wanted. Quick death meant the defeated enemy was not even worth proper attention. It was like throwing away a prize you had worked hard to win. The 5th and 6th alien ships died together in twin explosions. The remaining Vorthak vessels finally realized they were going to lose this fight. They began trying to run away, but Daeho could not let them escape. If even one ship got away, it would return with more enemies. Next time, they might attack human colonies full of innocent families. This was the hardest part of human military thinking. Sometimes mercy meant killing everyone to prevent worse things from happening later. Daeho gave the order to destroy all remaining enemy ships. Song Taiman nodded and began hunting down the fleeing aliens one by one. The last Vorthak ship tried to surrender, but it was too late for that. The aliens had chosen torture and cruelty over peace and mercy. Now they would learn that human mercy meant a quick, clean death instead of slow, painful capture. The final explosion lit up space like a new star being born.